Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to make a little overview of the basic movement in Glitch. The basics are not likely to change very much. In fact, the movement is getting to a nice place where I don't believe too much has to happen. So, basic walking speed is 1,000. If you're strafing and pressing forward, it'll be 1,800. If you hold jump, the jump button, the sounds are temporary, but the jump sounds terrible. But you will jump at pretty much that speed. If you're going at roughly walk speed, your jump is affected by how much you move the mouse at the time you jump, so you can flick. So if I do a full flick, you'll hear the noise of the kind of engine noise revving up. And you should be able to flick it at about, 1,700. Seems like a lot. It's supposed to be about 1,500, but I might have made something. And a smaller movement will do a smaller amount, although you don't have to move it too far to get the full amount. So that is basically, in Quake people get moving with a kind of circle jump, which I'm not expert in that, but it's a similar kind of mouse movement. But basically we're taking cues from Unreal Tournament and the dodge, so we have a way to move very quickly. It's not as useful as the dodge in combat, because in U2 you can dodge while pointing the mouse at somebody else. I mean, this one you have to kind of flick away to do the dodge movement, like so, which is it's more like Quake. It's not the same as Quake, but it's taking a bit from both and trying to kind of. They're very different systems. You can't really mash them together. I mean, I tried to do that in Unreal Tournament with lots of mods, and nothing really worked. Anyway, so that is the flick, and that is the basic way to get moving at a fairly decent speed. The other thing to get some extra vertical height is a double jump, which is when you jump and land on the surface so that your jump is the surface is higher, so that your jump is shorter. You get a 1.5, I think, times jump, so you get an extra boost. Like so. So if you're running, if you flick into this, you'll get a nice jump off. Because you can do two in a row, but because you've done one here, the second jump is long enough that you don't get a second ramp jump. That will also work in situations like this, although you can just press jump and not hold down space. This is specifically set up so you can do a ramp jump over to here if you do it off the corner. So if I jump from here normally, I'm not getting the height I need, but if I jump and hit the ledge, I get the extra bit of height, which gives me the extra bit of length. I've set up something similar right here, so if you hit this ledge, holding space, it'll automatically jump for you because you're holding space, and because that jump is quite short, you'll get the extra height. Same there. So this is called double jumping in Quake, and it's basically this game's answer to UT double jumping, which is just hitting spacebar twice, which is not as fun as I believe, because you don't get to use it as creatively and it's not as rewarding. And also, well, it's not the answer to step jumping because it is step jumping. So yeah, but I think it works well. And okay, so now let's talk about the fun stuff, which is the engine, I guess. Glitching. I call it glitching. It is similar to something you do in Quake, but it's not exactly the same, because the thing you do in Quake is very particular, and it's started as an engine bug, and mine is like a child's play version of it. Okay. Now, I'll just explain it first. If you are moving the mouse, if you're in the air, right, and turning, your velocity, that's which way you're going, is different to which way you're aiming. So I'm aiming to the right here, but my capsule is not catching up as fast as I want it to, so there's a difference. That difference is basically creating a boost in speed. And you can hear a noise when I move around, not the annoying jump noise, but like a synthesizer noise. And that synthesizer noise is an audible representation of how much speed you are adding by creating a difference in where you're aiming and where your capsule is going. It's not a direct one-to-one thing. There's a bit of smoothing and stuff involved, but and it ramps up and ramps down, so it's not instant, so that it's so that it works. And so that's how that works. So if you in other videos I've kind of just run around in a circle experimenting with it. But basically, the tighter the corner, the more you're gonna get. So and it can kind of add up onto itself. So if you've been doing it, it's easier to keep doing it. But if you want to start doing it, the best way is to just chuck a really nice tight 90-degree corner and kind of hang your back out of it. So these are the basics. You've also got other things like rocket jumping. It's designed to not take too much health. It should just take 40. Not sure how much it's taking right now. I'm at 66. If it takes 40, I should go to 26. Nope. I think it takes 50. That's a little bit annoying. That sound. I'm going to change that to something else. Yeah, it's very noisy at the moment, this game, and I've just bought a pack of sounds, and I need to pick better ones for some of the sounds. Pretty happy with the rocket explosion and rails. I love that. Come on, not too bad. But not too happy with the jump sound. Okay, so yeah, that's the basics.